Hey girls, I think we need to plant some annual ryegrass this fall. We'll see if that helps out. Oh hey, welcome back to Hedge Apple Acres. I'm Cal, and today's video we're doing a book review of Managing Pasture by Dale Strickler. The other day at the bookstore, but before we continue down that path, if you're new to my channel, I help you raise, manage, and breed livestock while managing forages for grazing animals. The other day at the bookstore I came across this book. And always, I love it when a book talks to me and just says, hey, buy me. So many books do. And this book was one of them, so I quickly looked at it and decided, hey, I think I want that book. I looked at the price and then I considered, do I want to own the Kindle or do I want a hardback? In this particular case, I wanted a hardback because there's lots of illustrations and tables and charts. When dealing with tables and charts and illustrations, the Kindle does not handle those very good. So this book, I brought it home and immediately started reading it. It jumped to the top of my to-read stack. Dale Strickler in this book talks about, he issues two disclaimers right off the bat. One, book's not going to talk about making hay or silage. And two, they're not going to talk about chemical weed control. Both are right up my alley. We still produce hay, but we are working towards grazing year-round, so we don't have to put up any hay. We're a long ways from that, but we are working to get closer to that. And the second thing is chemical weed killers. We use a very minimal amount of chemical weed killers. You saw in the Nimbus of Hedge Apple Acres video, we talked about we use chemical weed killer for thistles, and we also do for thorn trees. But for the most part, we don't use it any other. There's a few reasons for that, but that's for another video. This book, I really enjoyed it. Some of the strengths are it gives you lots of information. It talks about different grazing systems. It talks about different forages, cool season, warm season, annuals, perennials. It talked about production of those. It goes into detail and says, here's how many pounds you need to plant per acre for a pure stand, and when to plant it. That kind of information I really liked. On the other hand, I thought it was a little weak on some of the depth. It covered a lot of things: grazing systems, electric fences, forages, which is a big thing that I was wanting from it. It talked about water for rotationally grazing, and a lot of those things I really enjoyed. Just kind of scratched the surface. Silvopasture, something I'm very interested in, was just barely covered. Of course, that topic requires its own book. And the author recommends tree crops, and I purchased that book on my Kindle and I'm currently reading it, so you can look for a review of that soon. One thing I didn't like when planting some of the forages, he recommended using a chemical weed killer or chemical weed control to get the planting bed or seed bed ready for seed. That's not something I want to do. Chemicals, I prefer not to do them. I do understand you have to for some. I'm more interested in what we can broadcast or use frost seeding on, or even a broadcast with mob on it. Overall, I really enjoyed the book. It's very much a reference textbook for me to keep on my bookshelf, and it's earned a spot there. I can quickly go to it and look at what kind of forages, different types, that would work for me. Dale Strickler is a farmer rancher in northern Kansas. I'm in northeast Oklahoma, so his season is a little bit shorter than mine, but a lot of things he says is very relevant to what I'm doing. Also, I enjoyed this book so much. Dale Strickler has another book he published last year called The Drought Resilient Farm. I plan on purchasing that and reading it. Overall, I give this book 4 goats out of 5. It is definitely something that'll stay on my bookshelf. I just wish it had a little bit more depth. If you're interested in managing your pastures for more forage production for grazing animals, I suggest you go pick this book up. As always, we appreciate you watching, and we encourage you to comment, like, subscribe, and share. We'll be seeing you more.